Dimp Digital presents Idle Game Chat.
Cool.
So Logan, we're in an interesting scenario here where you're sitting there with hangover.
Yeah.
Usually it's me sitting there struggling, if ever someone's going to be struggling, and you've cost yourself. So we had to take a week off last week because I was dying, and you refused to do it solo, let the fans down. And this week we've got about a quarter of what I'd say is a normal Logan appearance.
Yeah.
He stung
Don't
himself.
like me, but it's happened and thoroughly regretting it. Yeah. So here we are.
At this time of the year, that's what's always the danger, unfortunately. I'll probably be in a similar situation next time out. I haven't
If
actually
you
worked
get
out the
three
calendar.
booze, then it kind of El Vino.
Yeah, it will sting you. It's hard not to take advantage of that. But it's been one of the busier weeks, unfortunately. I mean, we're not going to have to cover everything in detail because we've had the Game Awards just fly by and there's just a million things from that. Fortnite decided to drop 3 new modes inside of Fortnite, and I'm like, what are they doing? And then we had Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer drop, and it's like, well, what's up with this week? What have people been playing at, having to cram it all in just before the festivities start?
That's basically what it is. Get it done before the Christmas holidays.
Well, we'll see. Anyway, let's start with GTA 6. Got a nice little, a minute and a half, wasn't it, the trailer?
Yeah.
Didn't reveal a great deal of stuff. Showed that it was being set in Vice City. It was more of a teaser. I think they do that pretty much all the time. There's, showed the main character off, who's as per the leaks, is going to be the first female protagonist. I don't know if you're going to play the other fella that she's with, who I'm assuming is her partner. But that's kind of the setup. Those two running against the law. 2025 release year handed out. Could be 18 months away, could be 2 years away. Really, that's the spectrum that we're operating off at this stage. But based on what you saw, based on it being a teaser, and it's going to be one of the biggest games of this generation, what were your kind of early thoughts on it?
I mean, it's GTA, right? And that's always good. And I think they always manage to up the bar in some way. That being said, there's a lot of videos that do the round of comparisons between GTA 4 and GTA 5 and how a lot of the physics and everything were actually better in GTA 4 than GTA 5.
Yep.
But
Cutbacks.
generally speaking, I do find that weird how they don't keep things in there and then build on it. It's kind of like, no, we don't like that water effect, or like the way that tires like smash and when you hit windows, like, I don't know. But generally speaking, like, you have to say on the whole, GTA 5 was a massive step up with the characters and the dynamics and stuff. And it just sets the bar for me in terms of quality and longevity. Like, because it's an unusual game, I think. I can't think of many where the single player campaign is brilliant. Like, playing it solo is excellent. And it is equally fun, if not more, in multiplayer.
Yep.
Like, it's very, very unusual to have that sort of like duplex. Like, there's some games where they've got a really good campaign and they've got a multiplayer and you go, oh, that's okay. But, GTA 5's been and still is in that top sales piece and the sales data, and it's usually up there and around it. So people continually buy it for that, I think, or assume they do.
Yeah.
So, look, it looks good. Vice City was to be expected. It looks like it's got a bit of a San Andreas vibe about it, like with the car modding and kind of all of that subculture that looks like it's back. Because I feel like that kind of
Lots of
went a little bit.
twerking. What's that on top of
Social media?
Yeah. That's definitely going to be satired the fuck out of, isn't it? It's clearly going to be a commentary and all that nonsense of everything just becoming a video or a meme or a viral. It's
a little bit South Parky sometimes, GTA. It was always like a bit tongue in cheek with what it did with it. And they do like to take the piss, if you like, out of popular culture.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's kind of where I expected it. I think we were talking about this in the group a couple of weeks back, and I think D-Man was saying, 2024. I was like, no chance. Like, it's more
Yeah.
than likely going to be late 2025. So they've said 2025, but I suspect it will be a late release. I don't know why.
That's what I would. Here's my prediction. If I had to predict, they'll announce something middle of next year saying spring 2025, and then we'll get to winter of 24, and they'll go, winter 2025, and it'll eventually be in that window. I mean, that's typically how things go, especially with GTA and the Red Deads. I think they've always had some sort of delay.
I feel like they're always late in the year. I don't know whether that's based in fact or not, but I remember.
Well, GTA 5 was June. I think
was
it? I feel like it. I'll check it because I could be talking shit. The only reason I say that is because I felt like it was in and around the same sort of time as The Last of Us, but I could be wrong. And September,
sure
actually, it's later than I thought. September, so
Red Dead was October, November, I think, wasn't it? Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
So they always seem to be slightly later drops in the year. So yeah, I'm expecting autumn, winter, 2025. But I find it interesting with this whole GTA 6 thing, how much stuff gets leaked. And I don't know if it's intentional or unintentional to create hype almost, but like all the gameplay's been released before anyway, like early versions of it. Even this trailer got dropped and released.
That's it.
And leaked, and then they went, well, here you go then.
Oh yeah, might as well get the ad.
How are they letting it slip through the net? Like, everyone must be NDA'd up to their eyeballs, and yet it always gets out. Like, I find it bizarre.
Yeah, well, the September.
You don't really see this.
I think it was September. Maybe there's not enough interest. I think September 2022. So it was like not quite this time last year, just over a year ago, is when they had like the big leak where all the pre-alpha stuff come out, and I think that was hacked in some way, from what I remember. Going through, someone got in via, it might have even been Slack or some nonsense like that, and someone got hold of it and posted it. And then this trailer itself leaked about a day before it was planned to, and then they went, well, here it is, have at it. And it's gone on to break records in terms of trailer views. It's already surpassed GTA 5's lifetime original trailer views, and that's 10 years old at this point. But it's a clearly hugely popular game that transcends the sweaty nerds that listen to this on a weekly basis. This is a much bigger game than us losers, and it always will be. In terms of, it's very early to even be discussing things like this, but I'll shout it out anyway. Online, clearly something that they put out there, and I don't think expected it to take off as much as it did. Like, it's just been a continuous thing for 10 years now, an absolute money printer, and they've jumped on it. They've got a subscription in there. They've been plying it with content. There's even speculation that single player content was basically binned and folded into online content to leverage that. What do they do with that component of the game? Because it's obviously hugely popular. It's what most people today are playing. They're not playing the single player campaign in 2023. Is it a full restart jobby, or is it some sort of carryover of stats, weapons, and I don't know, cash? Do you get a little legacy starter bundle that gives you some in-game currency as a thank you, or is it just like, here's a clean slate and we're going to start building this one for the next 10 years?
Yeah, I think it probably would be clean slate. I'm pretty sure they clean slate GTA 5 after GTA 4. And I think I'm largely okay with that, because they're different characters and there's different things going on and different currencies and all sorts of stuff happening. So I think it makes sense. But GTA 5 has been so big, and people have put so much money into it, into building out all their cars and stuff like that. You do wonder whether it might be slightly different. I don't know.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something, I feel like. But the lowest hanging fruit in my simple head is, yes, we can track your engagement and spend on GTA Online. Here's a percentage boost when you start. Here's a starter pack of maybe you get your first property for free. I don't know. Or you just chuck the online currency in and say, here's $1 million to get you started, which largely becomes irrelevant as time goes on anyway. It kind of becomes, everyone becomes a millionaire quite quickly. But yeah, it's going to have to be something they're going to have to look at. And I do wonder also, if you remember back to GTA 5, the online component didn't launch day and date. That was a few weeks behind. And I think the heists were months behind. I feel like they were like the big promise, and they really took their time to get that right. And it was the right move in the end. But people are going to want this thing almost immediately. I wonder if they'll stick to a staggered approach, or whether they'll be like, we kind of need to do GTA Online day and date. But I do think the game itself is big enough on its own. Keep people occupied for a few weeks, and then be like, right, here's the online component, have at it.
I like that, because then there's no distractions, is there?
Yep.
There's no temptation to just get drawn into going into that online mode, because everyone will have it day one. There's no one in this Dimp group that's not getting this day one. Like, everyone will do. So if they launch online straight away, like, everyone's going to want to do stuff together. And you won't. You'll be like, get me out of here. I'll be doing that solo. But the temptation's there. So if they do launch it, I'm happy with the staggered approach, because everyone can take their time, play the single player campaign and mess around in it and do a bit of sandboxing by themselves. And then once that online's ready, then you can have at it. I'm pretty sure Red Dead Online come out later as well. So I think they tend to do this, right?
Yeah, it's quite a common thing that they've been doing, and I've got no problem with it, obviously, being a single player nerd. But I think there's obviously some people out there that will want that day and date. But no, there's I think we had a similar situation with Red Dead Redemption 2, and obviously GTA Online as well. That came definitely later on. The other big thing that's been squawked at is no PC announcement, which I don't know why people are surprised by this, because this has been happening as of 10 years ago at least, and if not, if I go back to GTA 4, I don't know whether that was the case. Red Dead Redemption Original never appeared on PC, so you've never had that. And I believe GTA 4 was an early release on PS3 and Xbox, and then again we got the PC version 6 or so months later, and GTA 5 was the same, Red Dead Redemption 2 was the same. I'm not surprised. I assume you're not as well. You've sort of clapped that in, and you like the Master Race getting stung, even though you're now a member of it.
Well, this is a dilemma, because this would be a prime candidate for the extra grunt in this machine. And it basically just means it's just not a viable option.
No, waiting's not an option, is it, for this one?
No. Normally, with probably any other game, I would wait. I can't wait 6 months or 9 months or however long it takes them to get it on PC. So that will create a dilemma. I think I would buy it again.
Over a year to do Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
On PC. Yeah. I mean, the ports are good. They don't fuck about with them. They don't do a fucking naughty dog and drop dog shit out and go, oops, we've just got a critically acclaimed game crapped on because we fucking blew it. Like, it'll be good. So when the PC players get hold of it, they'll be most likely happy. Yeah. But it's just that time period. I know there'll be certain people that can wait. Like, I'm sure the salmons of society will happily wait and whatnot. But I definitely can't. And I wonder whether the PS5 Pro will be out by then, and whether that might be the route to getting some sort of 60 FPS, because the density and lighting and everything that went into this trailer screamed like 30 FPS to me. And the only way,
like 2K, wasn't it, or something resolution or something like that.
The only way forward really would be to have one of those souped up consoles to perhaps give it a go, but that's no guarantee. So it'll be interesting.
We'll have to wait and see.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Have to wait and see what the lay of the land is at the time and start making some decisions. But it would absolutely be a contender for PC for me if it was releasing day one. Then I don't know why I'd go with anything else. It just way more grunt than this poor console.
Yeah, they will struggle. They're going to struggle. They always do at certain points, and this is going to be one of the games that pushes them. I have no doubts about that.
Question on that.
Go on.
So you're not that fussed. Say you're not that fussed. Everything's still coming out. You're not having any problems. And then all of a sudden this comes out and it goes, you need the Pro to run this at 60 frames. Would that basically make you go, right, well, I can't have this game in 30 frames. I need 60, so I'll have to upgrade.
It's a moot point anyway, because I'm more than likely going to upgrade anyway. But
Yeah. I knew you'd bloody say that. I know you would do, and you always have done. But
yeah, I think it would definitely strengthen the case. If for whatever reason I was on the fence, this would be a tipper.
Yeah,
You'd go, well, now I best do that. Like if for whatever reason I decide not to get one at launch, or couldn't get one because that PS4 Pro wasn't overly easy to get hold of. It wasn't massively popular, but I don't think they built a load of them. So it's a pain to get hold of, but yeah, that would then kick me into gear to say, let's make sure we're on top of this before that game comes out. But I feel like I don't think we're going to get it, if I'm honest. I feel like it's going to be fairly across the board, and then it won't matter.
So I'm already planning the solution, I think, which is potentially trading both consoles in for a PS5 Pro.
And then keep the PC for the Xbox.
And then keep the PC for the Xbox stuff.
Yep. Sound ideas.
That's what I'm currently considering. But this is the problem with just binning these consoles, is there's a risk that PC ports don't come day one and there's a day one game. You're called pants down.
Yeah. It's a
risky business.
It's not easy. It's not. That's why I always think it's good to have one of the consoles. And given that Xbox release all their stuff on PC, if you're gonna try and get your bang for your buck and maximise coverage of games, it's the PS5 times the PC with perhaps a Nintendo just to collect dust, if nothing else, until the next Mario game comes along. So that's always going to be the way, unfortunately. Anyway, GTA 6. God, that's.
I'd like them to reset the naming convention of that.
Yeah, it annoys me.
It's like 6 is too. It's getting too much. So I'd like them to just be titles: Grand Theft Auto, Grand Theft Auto this, Grand Theft Auto this. So you used to have Grand Theft Auto London, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and now they're just numbering them, and it's bothering me a bit.
Yes,
I don't know why I've added that on there. No one cares about that, but
it's a thing, isn't it? I think all I mean, what they can do with this PlayStation, is that going to be PlayStation 6? Once you get past 5, you're looking at stupid numbers.
Well, Xbox reset it, didn't they? Well, Xbox One. Well,
the trouble is now they've got nothing to rely on. Final Fantasy 16, right? That's almost gone so far that it makes sense now.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just trying to get through this middling period of like 6 through 7, 8. I think when you get to 9 and 10, you're back on form. 11's a shitter. 12's a good one. 13 can be good. 14
in the
garbage.
Teens and you're all right.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a correction. I don't count this. So they're saying several sources have described Lucia as the series' first female protagonist, when actual fact, Grand Theft Auto, the Game Boy Color version, and the Game Boy Color version of GTA 2 and Grand Theft Auto Online featured optional female playable characters. Now, I don't think that counts because they ain't characters. Grand Theft Auto, the original, you ain't a character. You're a little fucking sprite
blob
running around.
Yeah.
There's no character to that. GTA 2. I don't count that either, really. I'm talking about a proper, fully realised character here, which is what this is. Actually has dialogue, has a personality behind it. So there's people getting pedantic already about this nonsense. Slops.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of. I get why they've laboured the point, and it's a thing about a woman being the lead character, but it's kind of a bit of a. I was never fussed about the sex of the character anyway, although it does feel more like the way you play Grand Theft Auto feels like a more male, like going around bashing someone in the head out of nowhere when you're walking down the street isn't a very feminine thing to do.
He's sexist. Well, no, what he's saying is all males are morons, and they are. They're more inclined to moronic behaviour. You see it?
Yes. That's more aggressive moronic behaviour.
Crime. You only got to look at the crime stats, and you'll see the split between.
Yeah. So this is, but it's interesting. I think I like the fact that because the one thing I was wondering was how they're going to deal with the character dynamic and what it's going to be. And it looks like a more entwined story, which I liked. There's some sort of relationship between these two characters and how that develops and what the underlying reason is they're behaving. Is it a bit like a Bonnie and Clyde? I like that.
That's been referenced a lot. That's a theme of it. So it's that's something I haven't seen in many years, but I may well just watch that over the next year just to get an idea of what, because they're going to reference a lot of things like that if that is indeed a inspiration for it. So bit big moments, and they'll go silent for another half a year,
6 months,
at least. So we won't hear much on it, but it's there and it's out there, and people can see, and hopefully we'll hear a bit more in the coming months. This is Idle Game Chat, Dimp Digital's flagship video game podcast. I don't know if this is the last one of the year. I haven't worked it out yet.
Possible, I think, to do one for next week.
Well, I need to work it. Basically, whatever we did last year, I'm going to follow the same path. Because at some point, we didn't do one for 2 weeks because we had the quiz and we had the fantasy gaming season end special.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have the fantasy gaming draft special, and that normally comes before. So anyway, I'll sit down and work it out. This may well be the last one, though, and I ain't going to tell you either way, so you just look in your feed, and if it ain't there, it ain't there. And that's going to be the end of it. Grassroots independent, that's what you get with no funding. Just take weeks off.
Sloppy.
No one cares, although the livid patrons probably were last week. They got the episode late because I was so ill. Didn't get it to a Sunday evening. Usually get it on a Saturday morning, and then all the freeloaders get it on a Monday. So that is a perk.
You do say, though, it's never guaranteed.
I did, yeah. Absolutely. Covered myself. So legal were happy with that little bit of coverage there. I want to quickly talk about this Fortnite.
Yeah.
Well, you went into it today, and you weren't playing the game, any of the new game modes, as far as I understand.
I haven't played it today.
I thought you'd gone in there with Pee-wee.
No, I mean, essentially, I have to admit, I'm not overly excited to play Fortnite at the moment. It's not, even with all the stuff they've added, and I'm just a bit done with it because I've played it so much over the years. There's nothing really that new there for me anymore. But I thought I'd jump into it, and there's in Epic Games Store now. It's an 84.9 gig update, and I was like, do you know what? I didn't want to play it anyway.
No, I won't.
I'll just leave it on to download. But I have been into it semi-recently, a couple of weeks back. But I do want to check it out because I've been trying to keep tabs of what on earth is going on without too much effort, and it looks like they're adding something, or something is being added called rocket racing. And there appears to be some sort of link between, obviously, Rocket League and Fortnite now.
Yep.
And I need to investigate it. So, for example, there's a car you can get, I think, in Fortnite, which then carries over into Rocket League.
Right. They're getting you that way.
So there's a bit, they're increasing the overlap.
Absolutely they are. I mean, they've added 3 new modes inside of Fortnite. So these are not separate apps. Like you launch Fortnite, and in the menu these will appear, which probably what balloons that update to 80 odd gig. So you've got Lego Fortnite, which is basically Minecraft but with Lego splashed on it, and that building functionality that has been binned from the Battle Royale mode has been, I guess, reinvigorated and put into this. And I've seen some of the videos. This does look, I mean, I'm never going to sit down and play it, but like if people are interested in some sort of sandbox survival stroke building game, you could do a lot worse than chucking this on and seeing what it's like. It looks pretty cool in that instance. Then you've got Rocket Racing, which is what you was alluding to. This is like a spin-off of Rocket League, so it kind of uses the look and maybe not the feel, I wouldn't say that, but the look of the Rocket League cars and some of those old classics, the customization options, and looked to me like Trackmania Turbo, which I played many, many years ago. It's kind of this wacky off-the-wall racer, which, again, has cross-game support with cosmetics relating to cars, as you mentioned, so that's how they're going to get people returning there. And the final one they added was Fortnite Festival, which is the rhythm game. So the main one I've seen is there's an Eminem song that comes on, and in the beat you hit the right buttons, basically. It's like a classic sort of rhythm game. And they just decided to drop all 3 of these in the last week, and I was like, that's quite the content update for a game. And to me, clearly is saying, look, Fortnite's going to be more than just Fortnite Battle Royale or Battle Royale. Yes. It's going to be a platform. Fortnite's going to be the vehicle for other games, genres, and whatnot in there. And I don't know what a metaverse is, but this is somewhat what I would envision something like this to be, where you jump into one thing and there's all manner of different genres, and you've already got Fortnite Creative. I don't know if you've seen any of the creations on that, but they are fucking insane what people are doing with that. And ironically, Save the World, which was how Fortnite started, just left in the bins now. It's like the very first thing this thing started as, gone, but Battle Royale's taken over, and we've got creative Lego, Rocket Racing, and this rhythm game.
It's quite unbelievable what it's become, really. Like, as you say, from the genesis of Save the World, which in itself was an interesting concept. I think people
co-op
looked at
game, up my alley. That's what I wanted. Little horde-based co-op.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh no, it's you know, you had to pay for that." I think it was like £8 back in the day.
Yeah,
but they offered this free mode, which was the battle royale thing. So everyone went, "Oh, I'll give that a go," and then it just ballooned. And as you say, now there was rumours that like Rocket League itself would be absorbed into the Fortnite kind of like metaverse, and then somehow redeployed in Unreal Engine 5 or something. And it was like so many rumours swirling around that they're going to use this as kind of a way to get people in to Rocket League or to like the Rocket League universe before they drop Rocket League 2 or something, or whatever it's going to be, or a massive update for Rocket League in some way. So I don't know. It's interesting because largely on Rocket League, Epic have kind of left it. They've introduced the Battle Pass, Rocket Pass, and a few other bits, but the content that they've added to Rocket League, when you compare the content they had to Fortnite, is like night and day. Like they've literally do fuck all on Rocket League and just let it do it. Like the community has just been absolutely lambasting Epic for the lack of updates since they bought it from Psyonix.
Well, they gutted a lot of their developers as well. It was reported about 3-4 months ago that they'd laid off a load of people at Psyonix. It's like, whoa.
And then they made a really unpopular change by removing player-to-player trading.
Yeah.
And they've done all this stuff, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing to this game? And then all of a sudden, there's this kind of like, pretty much. And now there's all this stuff going into Fortnite. So the rumour mill is a swirling. But yeah, it's interesting, as you say, kind of out of nowhere, you get these 3 interesting updates. But I will, once it's all downloaded and stuff, maybe over the weekend or something, I'll have a look and give some of it a go, see what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, the one that I would personally give a go is that Lego one. Just to see what that's all about. Run around with your little minifig or whatever they call those Lego characters and whatnot. And I mean, it's be interesting to see where they go next with Fortnite. It really is just its own beast. An Epic.
They're actually giving people stuff they want, though, which I think is incredible. Like, everyone was just like, I can't build. It's too hard. The skill gap is too far apart. And we'll take it out then.
Is there even a mode for that in Battle Royale now?
Yes. There is. You can still play building.
Yeah.
Like, they leave it all in there, which is what I like. And this is what they do really well, is they go, here's all the stuff to play if you want to play it. Like, no bother. And it's pretty cool, to be fair, that they do that. Like, because if you look at Rocket League, they put all of these different modes on rotation, and you've always just got one kind of like limited time mode, which is largely shite. You think, just leave them all in there. It can't. How much bother can it be for you to just go through and scroll through and play what you want online? Like, it can't be that much bother. So hopefully they do a similar thing with that. But interesting updates. Good to see it getting continued support, because it kind of died down a little bit, Fortnite, for a while, and then they chucked Zero Building, and then they've done all of this stuff where they've kind of wound the clock back to like OG-ish or Season 1, got a load of people back, and then dropped a load of other shit. Like, so, it's, to be fair to them, you have to tip your hat and go, you've got your finger on the pulse here, because you're giving people what they want. Yeah,
and that's they've got all that on their finger on the pulse, absolutely. And even just for their crossover with pop culture stuff in the main battle royale seems to always be current. There's always something new in there. There's something that people want. It's almost now got to the stage where a property probably wants to be in Fortnite.
I was going to say that. It's like it's become easy for them to get it because they've probably got everyone coming to them
knocking on the door.
We should do this. We should do this. We should do this.
Did I say that Peter Griffin's in it at the moment? Is that?
Is he?
I think so.
I honestly don't know.
You know what I mean? This is. I can't keep up with it, but you got people knocking on the door saying, "Get my skin in there," and they're like, "How much?" I'm like, "Oh." Hello.
It is just a case of like almost like highest bidder. Like, it's like we'll put it in. Sure, how much? Like, it's mad, isn't it? It's like the best way of doing advertising really is to get stuff in Fortnite. Like, it's such a huge audience. It's incredible.
Yeah. Mad stuff, but we'll keep an eye on Fortnite. If you do play any of those modes, maybe you can revert back with some high-level thoughts. Yeah. Don't expect you to spend 30 hours in Fortnite Festival, for example, but you never know. You might get hooked on the playlist and be like, oh, bringing back the memories of Kasabian. Although they're not allowed anymore, are they? Because that bloody Tom ended up being a nut job. Causing problems for everyone.
Disappointed in Tom, I was.
Yeah. That is a shame. They still going without him?
Yeah, they released a new album not so long ago. Bit of a different vibe about it because...
Well, that stage, I think you should rename the band. Like, I know older bands do this all the time, like members die off and disappear and whatnot, but when you lose like the core frontman, I think it's time to come up with a new identity, a new name, but then you lose that cachet, don't you, of it being called Kasabian.
Yeah. I mean, it still feels like Kasabian. Yeah. Like Serge always did most of the songwriting anyway, and Tom just put the lyrics in. But it doesn't... I have to say, it feels like there's something missing, which is to be expected when you don't have the front man, right? I think it's a really difficult thing to have. And Serge, for all his talents, ain't the greatest vocalist, for sure.
That's why he was always on seconds for the majority of their big songs. Anyway, we had the Game Awards as well. Again, too much to cover. I mean, it's just, there was a load of shit as usual, but some interesting stuff as well, which I'll just rattle through. I guess first off, the actual Game of the Year award went to Baldur's Gate 3, and they also, well, they didn't advertise this when they won it, but Baldur's Gate 3 shadow dropped on Xbox Series S and X. I can only imagine someone forgot to say it during the acceptance speech, but it wasn't mentioned in the show, but it appeared in the store, so that's there. Any surprise that Baldur's Gate 3 got it? Because I think I certainly thought it's going to be that or Tears of the Kingdom. And sometimes you kind of think that Nintendo bump is enough to sneak it through, but on this occasion, the game that everyone was talking about actually won it seems.
Yeah, we touched on this a couple of weeks ago, I think. And I think we both said we felt like Zelda would edge it for that reason. But you got to say, I mean, I haven't played Baldur's Gate, but everyone's raved about it. So
yeah.
And it's good, to be fair, that saying slightly different
absolutely
takes the title, right? It's like it's good that things aren't a slam dunk. Like, you get bored of Man City winning the league, so
they ain't going to win it this year. I'll tell you, it won't be Ange Ball either after this disaster.
It will not be Ange Ball, no.
What's he done?
Well, it's a good question. Profligacy is what I'd call it. We go from one game being super clinical and taking all our chances against City to then just being wasteful against West Ham. I think that was always... I always thought it was going to be a work in progress. I think those first 10 games got everyone's hopes up, and then now it's like brought down to reality and everyone's going...
I spoke to someone at work. I spoke to someone at work before the great downfall. Yeah. He was like, I'm not excited at all because I haven't played anyone good. And I was like, probably right. And then... as it's borne out, it's been a bit trickier.
But I think you lose like 10 first-team players as well. Like, there's no team
now.
Well, no, it's unheard of, really. And Spurs had shit depths to start off.
Shouldn't be on the same points as United now, though. That's embarrassing. How bad they are.
They looked good against Chelsea the other night. Chelsea looked bad though. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Chelsea didn't look great at all.
Chelsea might be the worst London team now. I'm not even joking about that.
Well, possible. They said to Scotty Mac after the game, "Why do you think you were so much better?" And it basically said, "Because we didn't do much training." And I was like, how fucking unfit must you lot be that to get a performance out of you slops, he has to ratchet down training? It's just unbelievable.
Get your fucking boots on and get around that field. That's what Anthony would say. That'll be the end of
3 laps. What? For a starter.
Couldn't even do half a lap these days.
Oh, no.
So that's that. It's got Baldur's Gate 3 taking the main award. It got 5 other awards during the show as well, which is good. Honestly, you have to watch this clip if you've not seen it. Christopher Judge. I've posted in the Dimp group, actually. It's in there as a quick clip. So Christopher Judge, who plays Kratos in the God of War, he won Best Actor or Best Performance last year and did a really long speech. That was like his... people were highly critical. I think he was there for 7 minutes talking, and they were like, fuck me, he's talking long. Anyway, he come out and sort of made light of it this time because he was doing a presenting for the same award, so he was giving out the award to the next winner. And he said, my speech from last year was actually longer than this year's Call of Duty campaign. In fact, and I was like, that just made me fucking cackle with laughter. It's not often that.
Fair play to him.
I know. And Call of Duty dragged through the mud once again, kicking and screaming.
He's a peculiar looking man, Chris Judge.
That's why he's in Stargate. He's an absolute giant of a man.
I mean, he's huge, but he's just got a. I don't know if he's had like plastic surgery, but he just looks like. I don't know. He's just got a bit of a strange face.
Well, that Beckham looks like he's had plastic surgery now.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, and 100%.
It does show whether Judge has or not. I don't know, but
no,
he's a big fucker. He's almost 60.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, that explains it then.
6'3" of absolute man. So I ain't gonna be saying that to him. Go, you look a bit weird, mate. I don't think he'll take kindly to that, but he was out there roasting some Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which I found hilarious. Yeah. Some game announcements, here's some random ones. Arcane Leon, yeah? So these are the guys that did Deathloop and Dishonored. They are under the Microsoft umbrella now as well. They are going to be making a new Blade game. Old Wesley Snipes. Third person they're going for, which I think's the right thing for what is going to be a melee combat focused thing. Any thoughts on that? I mean, I haven't seen Blade the films in fucking ages, but there's always seemed like it'd actually be a good video game if you can get the combat down. And one thing that Arcane Leon have been good at is combat and powers and things like that. So that's actually a nice match, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it could be the game that a lot of us have wanted since the 90s. I mean, it would be the ultimate win if they could get Snipes to do the voice acting.
Yes,
but
it would.
Ain't he been written off? He was in prison for ages, wasn't he? I don't know what it was. Maybe he's a no. Yeah. He went off the radar, and the reason he went off the radar is because he got locked away. But I don't know what it was for. I can't remember.
I didn't know any of this.
Did you not?
No, he's still Blade and Passenger 57 to me, and Demolition Man.
Yeah, I'm sure if you check
US Marshals.
Yeah, US Marshal. Yeah. Wesley Snipes, prison. Yeah. 3 years in prisons.
Wow.
Oh, well, that's fine. I mean, he can
get away with that, didn't you?
Get away with that. That's fine.
So he could come back.
Yeah, that'd be the ultimate. If they got him to do the voice acting in it, and they got that combat down.
Yeah.
Or I mean, hopefully, like killing a load of vampires could be good fun, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I think the Dishonored creators and they've got something in them to do that. So that's good. I'm looking forward to. I mean, it's miles away. So they basically just started it. So concept is there. We saw a little cinematic which gave away nothing. So it's set in Paris, which is an interesting choice. I don't know if there's any law ramifications or law things that would suggest that's actually quite a common place where Blade would be messing about, but they are.
Isn't there like a Frenchy person in the Blade films? Maybe
Probably.
I'm making that. Yeah.
Wasn't Triple H in one of the Blade films?
What?
I think he might have been, you know. Anyway.
Was he?
I ain't watched him.
Yeah. The Blade, I think it's like Blade 3.
Trinity, was it called?
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what they're up to. So
Ryan Reynolds. Christ, yeah, Triple H is Jarko Grimwood.
Yep. There you go. Helmsley. Hello Games, Paper's favourite developer. Yeah. The originators of the original hype train with No Man's Sky.
They were, yeah.
They've announced something called Light No Fire, which again, years away. But they showed a little fly through of the world. But the concept was that rather than it being a universe where you visit all these planets and there's all these different biomes and whatnot, this is set on just one world. And the way he described it was that it's the first true open world, like literally an open world with all manner of shit to discover. That there's going to be mountains in game taller than Everest. There's going to be oceans like this. Now he's starting to sell this, and again the head's shaking because
worries me.
Well, you'd think lessons have been learnt from last time, but I'm obviously interested in this because I think they do have something there. It's not for everyone. They just need to avoid the same nonsense that we had with No Man's Sky, which has ultimately turned out to be great, sort of 8 years after release. But we can't be having another, here's the promise of X, Y, and Z, and it not delivering. I mean, they didn't even have multiplayer at launch. They had to go and put stickers over the back of the boxes because they printed it with it, saying it had multiplayer connectivity. It didn't. So that sort of nonsense needs to be avoided. And you'd think that they've learnt their lesson, but maybe they haven't. You don't seem as...
Well, it's a worry, isn't it? Hopefully they have.
They shouldn't let him up there saying things live. Everything should be pre-recorded and edited from him. That's the way you get around it, didn't it?
Yeah.
You have someone look over that and say, we can't let him say that because that's not
You've
true.
been here. Everyone's been here in the corporate world where someone promises something and you're sitting there thinking,
No.
that ain't getting done.
No.
You've really promised something there that we can't deliver.
That's not working on that.
Yeah.
So that's not going to happen.
This is either bad news for him or bad news for me. I don't know which one yet.
No, we'll see. Light No Fire's coming at some point. Kojima revealed his new Xbox partnership game, which is called OD. He'll be collaborating with Jordan Peele, the famous film director. Have you seen any of Peele's films? They're scary ones, aren't they? Like Nope and Get Out and...
Not my bag.
No, I don't really like those jump scare ones, but they're good, and that's an interesting collaboration for sure. Also interesting that this game's going to be developed alongside Death Stranding 2, which is a PlayStation funded game. So he's clearly shagging both of them at this point. Kojima doesn't care where he takes his cash from, and I think there's alarm bells ringing because they did mention it's kind of like a movie, and as soon as you hear Kojima say movie experience immersion, I think the purists who like gameplay are going to be a bit disappointed with this when it comes out, but I'm all for it. So the interesting thing for me was it said Xbox Game Studios at the end, which suggests Game Pass day and date, so that'll make any decision easier. He spouted a load of nonsense about it being leveraged in the cloud again, and I was thinking, well, let's see what that means, because again, it's just all theory at this stage. God of War Ragnarok getting some free DLC called, you won't guess this one, Valhalla, just to bring up old memories of Assassin's Creed, and it looks like a roguelike mode, so
right.
It's free, which fine, I'm not going to say no to that, but I must say, when I saw Kratos appear on the trailer, I was like, oh, here comes a bit of story DLC. I don't think this is quite that. There may be a small story attached to it, but it sounds like it's more of a gameplay, like, run type thing. And funnily enough, Valhalla had their own version of this inside, which I had a few runs at. And I was like, this is cack, and didn't bother with it. I will say Ragnarok does have, in my opinion, better combat, so it'll live and die on that. But does anything like that interest you, like a roguelike/roguelike mode of a game that you've enjoyed, Ragnarok, where you're just trying to get through as far as you can get or to the end of a certain run, and it randomizes each time you perhaps carry over resources and you get stronger and stronger? Does that loop appeal to you at all?
Not universally,
No,
but I would never rule it out.
that's always the safe answer there. Final Fantasy 16. 2 new story DLCs in their way. Echoes of the Fallen, which is out now, dropped on the night of the Game Awards. And then The Rising Tide, that is due spring 2024. I checked the Sony store. It's £20 for both of them, or £8 for each of them. So I've added that double whammy one to my wish list. And
Say that again?
what do you mean?
You said it's £20 for both of them, or £8 each?
Yeah, you can buy them separately. No, it can't be £8 each, can it? Because that'd be cheaper than £20. Let me check that. Anyway, the expansion pass, I think they're calling it, was 20 quid.
Right. And
that first one, unless the second one's more expensive. But the long-rumoured... What have we got here? I ain't lying. Final Fantasy 16 expansion, 19.99, 20 UK pounds, yeah? Final Fantasy 16 Echoes of the Fallen, $7.99, 8 UK pounds. So the second one must be more expensive. Otherwise, why would you buy both of those?
Yeah.
Interesting. So this, whatever this second one is, this what they called it, some nonsense. The Rising Tide might be more expensive, I guess. That's strange.
Otherwise there'd be no point in buying the £20 one. You just buy them individually and save yourself £4.
Just seeing if that's even in the store at the moment. I assume it's not. Nah, it's not. Anyway, I've just fucking blown it. Came up. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But those two are going to be coming. So when the second one comes out, I'll probably look to go back into both of those and chuck them on. Hellblade 2 got a new trailer, showed a little bit more gameplay, some combat which looked good. Window remains 2024, so no solid ground there. Rise of the Ronin, which is a Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja game published by Sony, so that'll be a console exclusive, I assume, and coming to PC at a later date. That's coming out March 22nd, 2024. So for those that were sniffing around something to play on the PlayStation for a single player, that's there. Monster Hunter Wilds has been announced. 2025. So that's for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X and PC. So a long, long way away from that coming out. And I think that's it in terms of what I was interested in. A lot more other stuff there. A load of other mobile stuff and other bits and pieces. The Persona 3 got a new trailer. And that new game that's being created, it's not Persona, by the same developers. I keep forgetting the name of it. Meta something is also got another trailer. But other than that, that was kind of a whistle-stop tour of the Game Awards from my personal opinion. So 3.5 hours well spent, some say. I say no. Where's the Skull and Bones got a release date?
Did it?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
February 16th. So
I mean, that's surely not going to do well.
I don't think it will now. I mean, there's going to be an element of people checking it out, like this the day before, just because the lulls that might entail on it. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be getting that.
It had potential, but that's long gone.
Yeah. There we go. Metaphor Refantasio. Yeah, we get to see a bit more of that, so I'm interested in sniffing around that. Anyway, I think that's it for this part of the podcast. I don't know what I'm going to post next, so as I usually say, the audience know better than I do. In terms of the Fantasy Gaming League, we are hours away from the official window closing. At that point, I'll run the stats and verify it. So I might pop back with a little drop in to just formally announce those. If not, they'll come later on. But Logan, you've essentially won the championship. It's all but official. And the Grand Prix could still go either way. It's all depending on the day before getting some scores, but it's looking less and less likely as the hours tick down that's going to be the case. So
I may got a page at the minute, has it?
No, because they didn't give any early access to any of the press, and it's an MMO, so I doubt they've even played it enough to even want to put anything on it. It'll be a review in progress for a lot of them, probably not to the weekend either, but by all accounts, seeming like a bit of a disaster by the early sort of clips I've seen from people.
That's why it'll be in early access.
That's exactly why it'll be in early access, but people don't like to hear it these days. But yeah, I may well pop back with the formal results there, and then we may or may not be back next week for a normal episode, but at the minimum, there'll be some level of content arriving for you guys. Anyway, you can hear some game impressions from a game that I don't know about just yet. So we'll see you on the other side.
Welcome to the Dimp digital voicemail service. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hello, it's Logan here, and this time I'm doing a quick wrap up of my experience playing God of War Ragnarok. Played it on my underused PS5. It's pretty much one of those once in a generation games that I've got a PlayStation 4 to play. Overall, absolutely loved my time playing this game. I mean, what can I say that hasn't already been said about it? I mean, it's an absolutely beautiful looking game. There's so many different places to visit and environments to explore, and it all runs, beautifully, with no issues, no crashes, no anything. It's such a joy to explore. The story is, as you would expect, absolutely epic. The mechanics are great in terms of the combat and how you interact with the world. Music, audio, it's all absolutely on point. Voice acting, I mean, you name it. It's such a joy to play. I absolutely love the fact that, you know, in a lot of ways, this game is indistinguishable from the original. And I played the original and played it on I think I played it on my PS5 as well, the buffed version. And they really did a great job of that. It felt like an organic continuation. It's not sort of they didn't revolutionize anything. They realized they'd got it really right and hit the nail on the head with the first one, and just evolved some of the aspects around the mechanics and some of the upgrades that Kratos and co have in this game. It's nice and familiar with some additions on it. I really liked that. And as you get introduced to some of the more familiar Norse characters within the game, I really liked their different take on it. I mean, I love the Vikings TV series. Obviously, recently played through Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and this felt like a very much different take on the relationships and the interrelationships between some of the Norse mythological characters. And I enjoyed exploring that and seeing what their sort of characters were like and what their positives are, and, you know, what their frailties are and whatnot. I thought that was a really interesting thing for them to do. And it's easy with the Norse mythology to just play on the stereotypes and not really explore that and do something different. But I really liked the way it all worked and come together in this game. You know, things I disliked or liked less, I think that's really hard list for a game like this, because it's pretty much perfect. But, you know, without introducing a load of spoilers, you're not always playing as Kratos, and sometimes I just miss the feeling of invulnerability. And some people will turn that on its head and say, you know, being different characters that might have more vulnerability than Kratos allows you to explore them. And I did enjoy that for a period, but there's just something about Kratos and his weapons and his abilities and everything that are just so unbelievably satisfying. And sometimes I just miss that a little bit. But overall, wow. I mean, what a game. Absolutely loved it. It obviously goes into my gaming gallery and gets itself a platinum.
Here we are then, back with some game impressions to close out this edition of Idle Game Chat. Got apps here, joined by Tom Adkins, not Adcock, and he is here with that is the Assassin's Creed triangle sign, is it not? For the audio listeners, he's done a triangle on his head, so he's giving away the game. It's Assassin's Creed Mirage. So this is another Ubisoft title, following on from
Montreal.
That's it. Following on from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Let's have a look at this store page first of all. See if we can set the scene for people. Experience the story of Basim, who I thought was the most boring character in Valhalla. But there you go.
Yeah, I've got to say, I thought when they announced this is of all the characters they could have pulled from. You had that Sigurdsson, he was quite interesting.
Siggy, yeah.
Any of the fucking historical one. You could have done one about Ragnar if you wanted, or any of the fucking Valhalla boys. Odin. Well, I suppose they did do a DLC about them. No, they've chose Basim. Go on.
A cunning street thief seeking answers and justice as he navigates the
Aladdin,
bustling... What's that?
It's Aladdin, isn't it?
Well, it sounds like it. Navigating the bustling streets of 9th century Baghdad through a mysterious ancient organisation known as the Hidden Ones. He will become a deadly master assassin and change his fate in ways he could never have imagined. Experience a modern take on the iconic features and gameplay that have defined a franchise for 15 years. Parkour seamlessly through the city and stealthily take down targets with more visceral assassinations than ever before, and explore an incredibly dense and vibrant city whose inhabitants react to your every move and uncover the secrets of 4 unique districts as you venture through the golden age of Baghdad. Never knew there was a golden age of Baghdad, if I'm honest. So
No, I never did that.
At least we do now. That's in print, so that can't be a fib.
What I do love about these games is that they have that historical thing. You sort of play these, and I sort of think, "Oh, is that what it's like?" And I do tend to. I remember playing like Origins, and
it was Egypt, wasn't it?
Yeah, Egypt. Yeah. They did this little small tiny.
Better than
DLC.
going to see the pyramids in the flesh of her. Just put Origins on. No 12-hour bus rides into Cairo.
Oh, I did do that, and that was terrible. They did this DLC where it's like a tour, and it was like a guided tour about through the places, and it was telling you like the actual historical facts. So like this, there's like a round city, and that was there. I was like, oh, what if it's still there? No, it's turned into a big building now.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
So it's interesting because you play these games, you're like, oh, right, well, I mean, it's not something I've ever like, ancient Egypt. Okay, yeah, you get that when you watch The Mummy. Odyssey was ancient Greece. There's like 300 Spartans and all that. That's quite interesting. You know
so
about
you got
that.
it right there. You said ancient Greece.
Oh yeah,
not just
that's
Greece.
What cost me. And then what did we have? Then we had obviously Valhalla, which was a very lovely subject that we was all interested into, the Viking English era.
Yeah. Didn't have Southend though, only had Colchester.
No, it didn't. Essex, you go to Essex.
You can go to
there
Essex.
Was like a character base. It was when he's supposed to be like a play on the Prodigy geezer, wasn't he?
I think so.
It's called, but I can honestly say I have never ever really known about the historic history of Baghdad.
No, nor have I.
No.
So it's an educational piece potentially. Cards on the table with Assassin's Creed as a franchise. I think you've played most of them, if not all.
The only ones I haven't played, I'll list them to you now. I had never played any of those little free spin-off games. They did the little side scrollers. But in terms of, they weren't main games, but spin-offs, I didn't play Freedom Cry DLC. Yeah. I haven't played much of the DLCs of any of them, actually. They all do tend to have little
Valhalla only bloody stopped a month ago, it feels like, their DLC. Their free stuff. Good lord, they stretched that out. Logan went through the whole lot. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? That is crazy. The two that I didn't play, which were standalone games, were Rogue and...
Do you know why you didn't play that?
No?
Because by then, the Xbox One and PS4 were out, and Rogue was 360 and PS3 only, and we had Unity on Xbox One.
Oh, that's right.
Because I did the same thing. I never went back to it because I was like, well, I'd got rid of my 360 by then.
They've remastered it.
They have, yeah. It has been re-released. I mean, I daren't go back and try one of those because it would be a bit of a tricky game to go back to because they've changed the formula so much. Although this particular title, Mirage, perhaps re-entering back to an old formula as Mr. Atkins returns, disc in hand, cap in hand.
What's he been saying about me? Right. I had to just do a bit of detour in there because this is what I've bought. And that's that's a controversial decision because what I also dug out was my entire collection on the 360.
Look at all those. Assassin's Creed 2, Revelations.
2 Brothers, Revelations 3.
Yeah. He's got them all on 360 and then he's got Mirage on PS5. Traitor.
And Origins was the only other one to get a PlayStation looking. The rest were all Xbox, so...
Interesting.
Snake, the only reason I've gone for it on PS5 is because it's an achievable platinum, and I'm a whore.
Have you got the platinum as we speak?
Not yet, no. Okay. I've just got to do a couple of bits of mop-up, but it's hours away.
Yeah, fair enough.
So cards on the table, I've played every single main Assassin's Creed game to finish on day dot. I am a big Assassin's Creed fan, I would say. When they're day and dot, I enjoy them. I understand that they hit a bloatville. They are very bloatville. They hit a... It's almost as if they've done it again, to be honest. When it got to Syndicate, that sort of was the end of an era there, wasn't it? And everyone was fed up with it. It was the same game. It's the yearly release.
They were yearly releases,
They were. I don't know why. As much as people. Oh, he's done that.
He's
Didn't mean to
cracked
click that. He's blown it now. What's it doing now? Oh, make it stop.
Yeah, all sorts of video issues.
Oh, fucking hell. What have I done here?
For the audio listeners, Adkins turned his webcam off and he's trying to turn it back on and it's not working.
What's going on here?
It's an absolute
We may
disaster.
have to do this audio. You can see the top of my head.
You can see the top of his head.
Oh, dear.
Interesting.
Anyway, we're interested. Do we keep this or?
Well, I'll say leave it in. I'll tell you what. Turn the video off and we'll just try in 5 minutes. We'll do audio only. I'll go to the right hand side and the 10 YouTube watchers can lose out.
They can deal with that.
Yeah, most people listen to it anyway.
Yeah. So, what was I mentioning? I've lost my train of thought here.
The reset.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, they said they'd reset. So yeah, I've been playing them day and dot. Really liked them. And to their thing, people were saying they were boring and got to this stage where it's just a clear down of a map. I've got to say, I am a sucker. It's almost like a sort of a guilty pleasure for me. I really do love that sort of game. A shit, boring, clear down merchant of a open world. The stories weren't that great, you know. The environments were quite fun, and that, like in terms of Unity and Syndicate. And then they sort of come to a point, and then I think it must have been the film, didn't they? They realized they stopped making the games, and for 1 year they had a break while they made the film. And then there was this sort of great reset, and then they were like, I think basically they played Witcher 3 and went, right.
I remember them citing that as an influence, and they came back and was like, "This is the like the warrior style, where it was previously it was a lot of stealth, and like Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla. There's no stealth required. You literally can march into any. You can use stealth, but you can equally just march into a base and just cut everyone down. Yeah, and that's sort of part of the reason the characters even exist. There is that they're like these legendary warriors. So. Yeah, that was another reset, and then Mirage, and you can tell if this is correct or not. It seems like either a rollback to some of the originals, or perhaps a new direction altogether. And Bloatville, I'm told, is supposed to have been removed completely. Yeah, and also much more emphasis on stealth. But I guess we'll get into whether that's true or false as we work through impressions of Mirage. How long have you played it for at the moment? Obviously, you completed the main story and you're a couple of trophies away from the platinum. So,
got it on my PlayStation app. I have played Mirage for 24 hours.
So that's a lot less than the 120 hours I put into Valhalla.
Yeah, I think I was just shy. I think I was just over the 100. I don't know if I can get that whilst we're on here. My Assassin's Creed, because I didn't play any of the DLC. It's just right here. When did I play? There it is, Valhalla. I played Valhalla for 3 days and 19 hours.
Yeah, it's close.
So 3 times 20 and 19. So so 91 hours I played it for.
Yeah.
So
this is much shorter.
Yeah, much shorter, and it's a very compact thing. And it really is.
Priced at 45 UK pounds as well. So you probably got it cheaper in the physical market, but it's a budget game, quote unquote.
To my little games. Here we go. I did not have the fucking thing. I bought it from Asda's, and I've got the receipt in the box. And I paid for. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was in I was in two minds of buying it, to be honest, because it was.
Well, I was going to ask this why I even got bought, because I didn't even know this was on your radar. I was expecting this to be just binned.
It was
because the reviews weren't stonking either. It's like a mid to high 70s, which is fine, but not like, I best go and get that immediately.
No, it wasn't really on my radar. It was going to be certainly after Spider-Man. I was like, I'll get that when it drops down to 30 quid or whatever, 25.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think I just got suckered in because I am a big old fan of Assassin's Creed. Like I say, I do love that boring bloat of clearing down a collectible thing and clearing all that shit. And I don't know, I just got sucked into the hype train of it, and was just randomly shopping in Asda's and saw it there, and I was like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna go and get it. I think I've got a week. I think it was a week and a half I had until Spider-Man. I thought, well, I've seen 15 hours being chucked out there. That's the average thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck it, let's give it a go. And I managed to, literally before it came through the door, Speddens, I managed to roll credits.
Yeah. Lovely old business.
Yeah, lovely old business. So yeah, it certainly is. It's a weird setting because it's set. This is what fucked with all the timeline, didn't it? Like they were steaming full ahead, and then with the new games, Origins went like I think Odyssey is the first in the storyline, isn't it? They did Origins.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, I think Origins was the first. When that came out. That was like the prequel to everything. Then Odyssey was set before Origins, and then Valhalla, I believe, in between Origins and Odyssey, and now this is set before Valhalla and in between Odyssey and things. So this is Basim's story, and it really is a sort of return to the old. You don't realise how much Assassin's Creed has changed till you play this and realise what it was, how it's in terms of its mission structure, in terms of the biggest thing of this game is how much stealth you played. That you don't really, well, certainly the way I played those new games, Origin, Odyssey, and Valhalla, I was just this absolute tank that ran into every fucking settlement, chopped all my fucking bollocks off, and just went from there. There's a little bit of stealth here and again. If you go into a settlement, I quite like that aspect of doing that, but I'd say that's probably was about a 10% doing stealth, 90 running in and going mad. Whereas this, you can do that, but the game, you can tell the game's not built for running in and getting. You like, it's manageable, but you do get your ass fucking kicked when you do it. It's definitely that more sort of Assassin's Creed that we first sort of got to know, where you really are walking around the city, getting to know your assassination target, building like a sort of story up to. It's more in line. Like a lot of them, they try to compare this to the original Assassins thing.
Yeah.
Well, recently, I was about to show you on the camera before it died that I've started to install these on the Series X because they have a little bit of a boost. You can actually play them all at 60 FPS now.
Got some fucking boost.
He's there. Boise has given them the boost of power, and I played an hour of the fucking OG Creed. I was like, cool, what is this bag of shit? But I'd say this is more in lines with the lines of like Unity and Syndicate, where the mission structure is the same. If you remember back to those games, it was building up to a target and playing these smaller missions of building up like a story as to why you were going to take this person out.
Yeah.
You're eavesdropping on them, you're pickpocketing people, you're taking out little guards and little settlements, and then it builds up to this big crescendo of taking out this target, and then you have this sort of sandbox to do it. You have to go, you're going be like in a big fucking palace or something, and there's multiple ways you can go into this palace. Multiple ways you can get people to distract them, and there's certain ways you can take these out. That's what it brought back. I was like, wow, this was how we used to play these games, and the cities are very small, like in comparison to fucking something like Valhalla, where you're playing it for 90, 100 hours.
Yeah, you don't need a fucking mount to get from one
exactly.
mission directed to the other.
This has got all your standard tropes. You've got your syndication points, where you go around the map. There's collectibles to be had. There's little stories. Combat's a sort of a mixture. It doesn't have that old combo sort of. I always call it like Batman-esque combat. Doesn't have that. It's more aligned with the newer games like the Odysseys and Valhallas. You've got like the shoulder buttons that you press into and do them. But what you do notice is straight away is the level of level gating. Everything doesn't have a level. And it's quite
Did you level
nice,
up as a character?
Yes, you do. Yeah, you do level up as a character.
Or do you just get abilities?
No, you just get abilities. Yeah,
So
you
there's no
know,
like
there is
number.
no
You don't
level.
go, oh, you're now level
No
6.
number. No. There's no number. You do level up, and then you get a skill point. So there's XP, but you don't have.
So just to dive on that, there's no level gating like enemy wise.
No, yeah.
Could you, or did you? I guess not. Could you? I guess the question is, did you ever find yourself in a situation where the enemies were clearly more advanced than what your loadout or current ability tree would allow, which made it difficult, or is it pretty well balanced that?
No, it's pretty well balanced, to be fair. You can level up the weapons. You get the weapons can be upgraded, but they just give you a little more sort of percentage and stuff. Yeah. There wasn't any time. There's only one instance that I got snarled up is where you have like this sort of I'd compare it to like a GTA level, wanted level.
Yeah.
So once you start, if you sort of go and kill someone out in the open, if you kill an enemy out in the open, you starts off with this like you're getting seen by locals. So if you walk past like enemies, the bad guys, so shall we say, and you've got this level 1 warranted, they'll see you and they'll go, oh, he's over there, and you'll start to get noticed. Level 2, then they start putting archers on roofs, so you can't run on the roofs and get away from people. So there's more there. Level 3 is when they bring out these, I forget what they're called now, but if you remember back to like, I think that was in Valhalla as well, when you used to get these real fucking hard bastards that were quite hard to parry and quite hard to bring. You get them, and that's the only time I've really, like, if you get snarled up with a few enemies and one of them, it's cock up arse, I'm afraid. But but in terms of everything else, the only other time you really get snarled up is if you run into a big settlement and you try and play it like a Valhalla.
Right.
And you've got fucking like 6 or 7 of them coming at you at once.
You've had it.
Because it has that that sort of Mirage, Batman old assassin thing with the parry system. So just before they hit you, they go red and you can parry them. Well, if you got that and you got 3 behind you whacking you at the same time, you can get snarled up. But for the most part, as long as your parry game's on point, I don't think you'll get snarled up too heavily. I remember there was times where you're running fucking on Valhalla, you'd be like, "Oh, I've come unstuck here." You have like a red dot above their head, wouldn't they? Because they'd be too hard.
Yeah, I remember those fucks in Odyssey to like chase you down.
Yeah, that's it.
Like,
yeah,
those power, and then you sometimes get 2 or 3 of them going. He's got, you're like, oh fucking hell! And you're just left scrambling around, running away, just trying to keep away from those fucks. So I mean, do you have to play this more of a stealth way?
Yeah, so definitely. So I would say this is more of this is an easy Assassin's Creed game. It's definitely an easier version, but yeah, it's more the way it certainly pushes you towards, and the way it's played is there's quite a few sort of stealth missions where there's lots of like following and keeping out of the shadows and whatnot. It's very much at its core a stealth game.
Yeah,
and I do quite enjoy playing that way, to be fair. It's nice, like, after playing the games, I do like going in balls deep as well. But every now and again, like this, when you're sort of working your way round, like Spider-Man currently as well, I do missions with that. Sometimes you just go balls in deep, but sometimes I quite like just being on those webs and takedown in it, doing perch takedown stuff.
Yeah.
But this, definitely at its core and is very influenced by old school. Old school ways.
You mentioned there's like several ways, or maybe several ways to sort of take out a target or enter a certain compound.
Yeah.
How expansive is that? Is it just like 1 or 2, or does it feel like there's actually quite a bit if you have a little wander around and actually take your time to observe?
Depending on basically the way this mission's, it's a typical sort of story of Mirage, of an Assassin's Creed. Is that, you know, these old school, the hidden ones versus the assassins versus the Templars.
Yeah.
They got names because it's set before, and blah blah blah. Story goes forward. There's some magical piece like the Apple of Eden or whatever it was, and then you start to uncover all these the Templars, and then there's like a big message board thing, and you've got these, like, I can't remember how many it is now. It's probably about 10. So let's say 10 targets, and you have to do these small little missions to learn more about that main target. And then so you build up, and then you get to each one. You get to the main target. So then when you get to that target, it's like, right, now let's go to them and do it. And before each one, it gives you like a little cutscene and saying the story of what he's done and how you can do it. And then when you get to that point, then it gives you like these little icons that are like on the map, and they show you like the way you walk around the environment. It shows you how you can do it, so you can. There's not an expansive amount, like it is very limited. Sorry, but it's just certain ways you can how to get into into a place. Like there'd be like locked doors that you can't get in.
Yeah.
Or you can go and talk to people, and or you can go and talk to like guards or something, and they'll take you in with them, or you can get a crowd of like people distractions.
Yes.
And then there's different ways. There's like different times you can assassinate the target. There's something that includes like the takedowns they said about that. You remember you had like the jump off a thing and land on them. It now has like this special one that's like a sort of cut scene as you do it. Nice. So like it will come up with a little orange skull just before you do it. But you can totally miss that and just kill them normally.
Yeah.
And then it will go into a cut scene like the old school where they used to wipe a fucking feather on them.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very much it's a sort of just like it's like a homage back to the old day, and it's set exactly the same ways. Plays exactly like an old Assassin's Creed, basically.
For better or for worse, some will say.
Yeah,
depending
it's
on
difficult
your persuasion.
because of how much it's changed. It does feel like a sort of watered down Assassin's Creed game, because what we're used to now is big fuck off expensive bloat feels, and I quite like the change of this is a 15-hour run through, and you're like, oh, it's done. Oh, that's quite nice. It is a nice change and sort of recourse to think, oh, that's what it was like. But then if you're getting them every year and you're like paying full whack for them, I can see why people got fed up with it.
Sick of it, they
but
said.
This was a nice one, yeah.
What is this? What's the story like and the narrative? How is, because we slagged off Basim at the start, saying he's the most boring person. Is that a strong point overall, or is it a bit of a blow?
It's.
And does it? I assume it fits into the wider Assassin's Creed universe.
Yeah,
Did you understand what was going on? Because I've lost track, if I'm honest. I've got no idea. It's so convoluted. Over how many games has it been? Fucking 12?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We've got 5 here. Then we had Black Flag, Unity, Syndicate.
Yep.
Then
these 3.
Then them 3. Then Origins. Thing. So we've had 11 main games, and then 2 spin-offs, 3 other runs, and a film.
And a film.
It's like 12 or 13 we're on now.
I've lost track of the overall.
Yeah, and
mythology.
To be honest, there's not much of the. Do you remember they always used like a in real life time, and then they have
like a modern or current day.
That's it. Sorry, there's not very little of this at all. To be honest, it's nothing. This is literally just Basim's story.
Are you in the Animus?
There's no mention of it.
Oh,
I think it carries on from. The trouble is, this is going to be spoilers for the end of Valhalla.
So there's a link to Valhalla
it's linked to Valhalla. So it starts off at the end of Valhalla.
Yeah, okay.
Let's just say that. And then it shows you, I think if I remember rightly, I think it literally does. You start off with the same cutscene as the end of.
Oh, okay, so it's literally a direct sequel.
That, and then
interesting.
And then it goes back into, it shows you because, it shows you Basim going. I think it shows you going into Basim after. I can't fucking. My memory's dreadful, but that's what it does. It does link into this. So the story is interesting in the fact that it bridges that little gap, and you see the evolution of Basim's character from Assassin's Creed. But like you said, he's not that interesting of a character. So this does flesh him out a bit, and the story, like I say, is very samey of most Assassin's Creed stories. It's that sort of him joining the assassins and working his way up and what's it not. It's a typical story, but there's like a twist and turn in there. But ultimately, I was a bit like, oh, right, yeah, that's fine. It's serviceable.
That's fine.
I'm sort of playing it more. The story isn't the isn't the best thing about the game. I say it's
They
more
very
that
rarely are in these Assassin's Creed
yeah,
games.
that's
I'm
very
honest.
true. It's serviceable. Let's just say that.
Let's say that. Well, on the old presentation performance side, what we got? 60 FPS. We got 30 FPS slop. Have we got beautiful textures and smooth animations, or have we got wooden toot?
It's a bit like Starfield, to be fair. It looks like they've blown their budget on the city, and the facial animations are bare bones.
They took a
No, I've got to say,
backseat.
the city does look very nice, to be fair. It's quite a... Even though you think Baghdad would be an absolute dust bowl, it is. It reminds me a lot of Origins, to be fair, because you're like in the desert, and then you go to these little sort of towns that are in like sort of tropical regions, and then... Yeah, there's like a lot, but there's not much going on in it. But the actual city itself does look really cool, to be fair. And it's quite a nice looking game. And yeah, but like I say, when it gets into this cutscenes and stuff and the in-game cutscenes, you really can tell that the sort of facial... I was watching a comparison video compared to Valhalla, and you really can see a bit of a downgrade on it.
Oh, downgrade?
Yeah,
Interesting.
downgrade, yeah. On the characters, I'd say.
That's interesting to note.
Yeah, but overall, like I say, the city does look really nice, and the way the city's laid out, like it's very accustomed to parkour. Apparently, everyone does parkour in Baghdad, but yeah, the stuff you can do, and it's quite fun. Like some of the cool new parkour things, like animations that you get, and climbing up walls is seamless. There's new like poles that you vault across and stuff.
Yeah,
it really does look quite nice. But yeah, definitely a visual downgrade in some of the quality of cutscenes and stuff. And with games like Horizon and that, where you really see that top-notch quality. Unfortunately, old Basim's face ain't up to snuff.
Not been given the care and attention that he desires or needs to make him of interest. Any call-outs? Any other call-outs that we've not touched upon for this?
Call-outs? No, I think, it's got the music. The music's pretty standard. It's got that sort of Assassin's Creed thing. No, it's just, it is basically just like a sort of nostalgic trip to, you could really tell that the people that made it were big fans of the old games and really wanted to sort of make like a homage to it almost. It's like a love letter, basically. It's got that sort of new modern take on it, so it doesn't feel like a bag of shit. Like I say, when I played the old Assassin's Creed game, I was like, "Oh, what is this?" Never holding down A to run in a straight line, and remember if you used to use the eagle vision, you have to stop to use it and look around in first person. It's not got those tropes, and combat's very much the new, but it was just. I'll tell you what this is. This is a lovely palate cleanser. So once you've played these big bloaters, and like if you come on off the back of Starfield and playing about 35 hours of Baldur's Gate, playing this for a nice little 15-20 hour thing, it's a nice little refreshment, to be fair, of just to play through it and not be bogged down by too much. To think you can clear this down in sort of 20-25 hours.
Yeah.
That's 100% in it. You could do this in about 15 to 18 hours. I reckon you could do that. It's a nice palate cleanser, and no performance issues. It runs at a solid 60. Looks nice. It's got two modes. You've got a 30 FPS mode where you can see a bit more visual quality, but them faces still look the same in that 30 mode. And it's just a nice sort of homage, love letter to the old games. And if you're a fan of the franchise, and like yourself, you played through most of them, I'll be interested to hear your take on this. But nice little planet cleanser, not stealing the show by any means.
No. Well, let's do the needful. Gaming gallery. We've got platinum, gold, silver, or bronze as a way to rank it and display it and showcase it in your personal exhibition. But we've also got the botchling bin there, should you need it. It can go in there and be joining all manner of...
Screw this up and stick it straight in the botchling silver. It's going to stick that in the silver.
Yep.
It's an enjoyable experience, but there was no wow to it. There was no run out and get it. I think if you was a fan of the old games and you enjoy that game and you're not looking for a bloat master, give it a go. However, if you did want to miss this out, you ain't missing out in loads, to be fair.
So a silver for Assassin's Creed Mirage. One parting question I've got for you.
Yep.
What next for Assassin's Creed? I mean, there's all sorts of rumours and speculation there might be one set in Japan. But in terms of structure, I'm asking you here, like, do you want a new bloater through, or is there a hybrid between this and the bloaters?
That's what I think. I was just thinking that because this has been a pleasant, for my taste. Like I said, I don't think I would say to everyone to go out and play this game because this is what Assassin's Creed should be. However, I don't think I'd want to play another fucking 100-hour Valhalla game because as much as I did enjoy my time with that, when you look at that, imagine like playing that again. So someone said, play that again now. You think, fuck me. It weren't that groundbreaking. Like, it was good for an Assassin's Creed game. You know, it was enjoyable. We stuck those hours into it. But to thought of going through that again now, you're like...
more out of stubbornness from my perspective.
Exactly.
I'm not having this game beat me. It will be defeated. I did toy with going back and doing like another run through as like like a male character. Just so I could fuck about with the beards. I've done the canon approach and made either a female.
Well, that's right, yeah.
They said there's no canon, but the fucking books are written and it's a woman.
Oh, that's right.
And actually, in that game, it said let the game decide when to switch.
Oh, that's right, yeah, because when you go up into thing, it's the male version, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's
very
what
peculiar.
I did. Didn't get my beard customization, but then I watched Vikings and I was like, cool, I could create the real Ragnarok here. And I was like, you know, what am I thinking? Fucking go through that again, maniac.
Absolutely. So yeah, I don't know what like I say. I think that's maybe just because of what I've been playing loads, but I do prefer these shorter things. I don't want another 100-hour. I don't think that lends itself well to an Assassin's Creed game.
There's very few games that really can earn it. Very few.
That's very true. That is very true.
That's the fact of the matter.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I would prefer a hybrid of the two. I certainly don't think we should be having yearly releases. I don't think that does anything good.
No, I don't think we'll
we've been having. I know we haven't really, have we? There've been about 2 years, haven't they? Between Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, and now this. But there's a lot in the pipeline, isn't there? It's a bit of a various price because we've got that. We've got the VR game coming, which I won't be getting involved in myself. But we also have this mobile game, which is quite interesting. It sounds like a fully fledged Assassin's Creed game in mobile, which I'll sniff at, but not expecting. Then we have this Assassin's Creed. Was it Forever or no? What's it called? What is it called? Infinity, that's the one. Which, you know, God, what's that going to be?
Well, my read was that's going to be like a platform, quote unquote.
Oh, is it right? And then all these
they'll add to it. Yeah, so maybe we will get shorter Mirage style games added to Infinity. So you'll have like one in Baghdad that part of it. Then you might have, I don't know, another fucking.
Okay, well, we've got this Japanese one, haven't we? There's is the Chinese one? That's the mobile game, isn't it? We've got the Japanese coming out, and then there's also some weird like horror thing that we're getting, Hex,
yeah.
Hexen,
yeah. They've got a lot cooking.
There is a lot cooking in the Assassin's Creed world, and like I say, I've been a fan and I've always bought day one. So yeah, I don't know what I want from this. After playing this, it definitely is a hybrid of the two, but I want the option to run in and kill everything, and I want to level myself up. But I also don't want to spend 100 hours bloating around, storming. What knows? I want a nice set. I want a setting that I haven't dealt before as well.
Yeah.
The trouble is they're running out now, aren't they? They're like, right. Feudal Japan is one that's been cast mark, but then fucking they done Ghost of Tsushima.
Well, they've kind of. They've done it probably will be better. Well, who knows? But That was a very good effort at it, is what I'd say. It will take some doing to overthrow that as the king.
A Final Fantasy X medieval Game of Thronesy style.
Yeah.
Maybe. Dragons. Well,
they've got fucking Apples of Eden, so why not?
Well, that's true.
They're not based on any level of.
We're going to do a modern day one. No Animus, just modern day.
I think it was Origins or Odyssey. They had there was always a rumor that they might do a modern day one, and I always thought that would be weird. Interesting. But make it like Spider-Man. But yeah, I remember I think it's Odyssey or Origins. One of them they started having like mythological creatures like giant snakes and what's that? Yes. What's that fucker that looks at you and turns you to stone? I remember popping
Medusa.
up. And, that's it. Yeah, and I was like, well, clearly at this stage they're not sticking.
Did you play that DLC of Valhalla, that Dawn of Ragnarok? Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, you did. That was all like mythology, was it?
Yeah, it was set in the that was set in what's it called?
Greek.
What's that? No, what's that place where all the Vikings go?
Valhalla.
No, like the city. What's it called?
Oh,
come on!
What is it?
Bloody hell! Right at the death.
Begins
with an A.
Oh no, the AC. That's what they're called. That camera's still not working. A. Right. Where's Odin live? That's what we're gonna have to do. He lives in.
It's in fucking God of War as well.
Asgard.
There we go. Yeah, set in as well. Actually, I don't know if it's set in actual Asgard, but it's set in that part of it where you're knocking around.
Yeah, that's what you did in Valhalla, didn't you? You went there.
That's it.
As fucking thing or whatever it was.
Yeah. So they've done an awful lot with the franchise, and I suppose they can do whatever, and it'd be interesting to see what happens there. But the main headline is Assassin's Creed Mirage earns itself a silver off Adkins, so it's nicely displayed.
Will be up for a borrowing session if you do henceforth a palate cleanser of 15 to 20 hours.
It sounds like it's going to fit that bill nicely, so I'll probably take you up on that, which will be very much appreciated. Assassin's Creed Mirage, a nice silver. Nothing more for us to say other than thanks for your time and ta-da.
This was a Dimp Digital production.